Hey guys, so I figured it was time to do a gear review. I just got off the AT. If I was still on today, I would have been hiking from Shenandoah campgrounds to Bear Mountain, but I decided to get off trail a day early so that I could relax and rest before having to go back to work on Monday, which is tomorrow. Today's Sunday. So this is my pack that I had on trail with me. It literally is in the exact condition that I packed it in the last night that I was on the AT. So let's go through it. I'll show you how I pack my pack and exactly what I have in it. So I'll start with all the outside pockets and then I'll go on the inside. And let me just remind everybody that this is just what I use. It's what's comfortable for me. It's what works for me. Everybody who's out there backpacking has a different setup and different needs out there. So to each their own. By no means is this the lightest setup. It's definitely not the heaviest setup. When I left for my AT hike on Tuesday, the pack was weighing in at about 30 pounds. I think the base weight's around 20, but then with the water and food, it brings it up 10 pounds to about 30, if I'm not mistaken. It's probably around like 24, 25 right now, because I did eat most of the food, but not all of it. And you'll see, I still got a lot of food inside. I overpacked food, which is something I learned on this last AT hike, that I definitely don't need to pack as much food as I have been packing. So let's get started. Let's start with the front pockets here. This is a Osprey Kestrel 38. It's a 35-liter pack. I recently switched from a 65-liter Osprey pack because I just figured it was way too big, and I figured out how to pack the pack a little better. So I was able to get everything in this 35, and it's been working. So on my side pockets here, I've got some hand sanitizer here, so that after the use privy, I can wash my hands, or if I'm about to eat and my hands are filthy, I can make sure I sanitize my hands before I stick them in my food. So in my front pocket here, got Max D. I got this at Bass Pro Shop. Works like a charm. You have to reapply every couple days, but as long as you have it on, the mosquitoes stay away, and apparently so do the ticks, because I didn't have a single tick on me while I was out there, which is good news. So I keep that in my front pocket, as well as chapstick. I didn't need chapstick. I didn't even use that on this trip, but when I was out in April, I used it a lot, so I guess it's seasonal. And because of the times, a COVID mask, just in case it's needed somewhere I go, but I actually didn't even use it this time. In my other front pocket, I have my wallet, or lack thereof wallet. All my IDs, my cards, and my cash. So that's what I keep in the front pockets, and that's it, nothing else. Now, what I don't like about this pack is that I can't grab the water out of this pack from the side pocket when I have it on, which is an awful, awful, awful feature. So I don't know, I might just I might get another pack just for that reason, because to have to take your pack off just to get a drink of water is terrible. But what I did figure out is that with the Gatorade bottle, I can actually use this little strap here to hold the bottle. Even if it's filled, it's tight enough that it will hold the bottle. So that's what I started now. I started walking around like that, and you'll probably see it if you check out my videos from this last section hike that I just completed. In the beginning, I didn't have a Gatorade bottle on my strap here, but then probably by the second day I figured it out because I just couldn't keep taking off my pack to get a drink of water. So then eventually I started using this little strap here to hold the Gatorade bottle, and it's strong enough to hold it. So maybe I'll work with that for now, but so I don't have to spend a ton of money getting a new pack, but it is kind of annoying. It's a bad design. So 2 bottles of water. This is a Smart Water bottle. It holds a liter of water, and then I have that Gatorade bottle. Gatorade bottle I use to put in an electric lights tab. I'm saying that wrong, but whatever. So like all my mixed drinks go in there, and then I keep just the water in the 1 liter Smart bottle. Okay. And then for the front of the pack, I have my trekking poles. I just strapped them on here for getting picked up. These are great. It's a new addition to my setup, which I just started using this last section hike. They're Black Diamond Alpine Carbon trekking poles. They're very light. They extend and get small again. Crucial. I used to hike and backpack without trekking poles, and then in April when I went out for 4 days, I realized I started using sticks, and I was like, this is ridiculous. I should just buy some trekking poles. And these help out tremendously when you're going up steep hills and down steep hills. So I'm glad I got these. This was a good investment, and I'll probably never go backpacking without them ever again. So I'm definitely for trekking poles. You don't need trekking poles. People go out there. You see people out there all the time without them. To each their own. But I figured out that I think it's very useful to have out there. I also have here a Sea to Summit spork, which I used to eat, strapped onto the front here. It's a long handle, so I can reach into the bag, which you can see in the videos, me eating my dry kit meals. Crucial. I used to have a portable, lightweight, small plastic spork, but I got rid of that and switched to this one for this through hike. Also on the front are my camp sandals. I usually keep these in my bag, but my last day on this AT hike, I went to the beach and they got all sandy and wet, so that's why I put them on the outside of the pack. But when they're dry and clean, I keep them on the inside of the pack. Camp shoes are crucial. I definitely recommend having those. And then this is just like a camera holder. We'll ignore that, pretend that's not even there. On the side here, I keep the poles for my tent. I have a Marmount Limelight 2-person tent. So the stakes, tent poles, and I also have my repair kit here. I have a repair kit for my sleeping pad, my tent, and just stuff to repair, make repairs with. Alright, top pocket back here. Here's my trash bag. I was able to empty it out before getting home. And then crucial wipes and toilet paper. You know what that's for, obviously. On the front here is my Sawyer Squeeze. It's actually still got a little bit of water in here. So what I do is I actually use the Sawyer Squeeze bag, which is 1 liter. I attach the filter to it, fill up the bag, squeeze it into the Smart Water bottle. That's been working fine for me. I don't see any reason to switch out. There's a lot of different ways to take the water out of the trail, but that's been working for me. So beef jerky was my snack for the day. The day I got picked up. So that's in the front. Keep everything that I'm going to eat that day out front. And if I don't eat it, it stays there until I do eat it. I've got 2 Cliff Bars. The cap to my Sawyer Squeeze bag. Una Sport Hydration with the electrolytes. So this is what I was using out there whenever I didn't have access to Gatorade or I couldn't buy Gatorade. I was using these tablets to drop into my Gatorade bottle, and it provides, there's a lot of stuff in here. So look it up if you're interested. It's better than just drinking water, especially when it's hot, summer, you need electrolytes. Stay hydrated. So then when you open it up, there's a pocket in the back of the brain. So up here is where I keep my miscellaneous items, you could call them. This is my electric bag. I have in here 2 battery chargers. This is a 10,000 milliamp per hour, I think. I don't know if I'm saying that right. 10,000 mAhs. This thing is awesome. I didn't realize this will charge your phone like 3 times. So I didn't run out of juice at all for 4 days, which was awesome. My iPhone charging cord is attached to it. I've got the USB outlet adapter, so I can charge, the charging devices as well as my phone. And this is for my headlamp. And I have a smaller, what is this? I'm gonna guess this is 5,000 mAhs, so it's like half the size, maybe even smaller. I got 2 backup batteries there. The first time I went on a section hike, I had a problem with charging my phone. So now I make sure I've got plenty of juice out there where I don't have to worry about my phone dying. It's just one of those crucial things. You need to have out there to know where you're going, know where you need to go, and look stuff up. So you can never have too much battery backup. This is my first aid kit. It's just Band-Aids and I don't know, which I find crucial out there for aches and pains. Especially when you're only going out for a few days, you're not used to hiking, 10 plus miles a day, you get sore. So that comes in handy. Other than that, I've never had to use anything else that's in there, but I carry it just in case. This is my headlamp. It's Black Diamond. I don't know what the model of this is, but I got it a while ago. But it's worked great. So I know some people replace the straps with a much smaller, lighter, band. I don't go crazy about being lightweight like that. So this is how it came. This is how I use it. It's all good. It works great. I don't do a lot of night hiking. So that's that. This is my toothpaste and my toothbrush. It's a travel toothbrush and a travel toothpaste thing, so that's all you need. Not that exciting, so I'm just going through it quick to keep this video decently short, or a normal amount of time. This is pretty cool. This is a new addition to my pack. This is for the mattress pad. It actually blows up the mattress pad and acts as a battery backup. So it does both. You'll see here there's a USB. And then this is to charge it. And the only downside of this, I'll turn it on so you guys can hear it, but it's really loud. But I got tired of blowing up my pad manually. I got small lungs. It's just too much for me. I'm tired at the end of the day. I don't want to sit there blowing the pad. It's exhausting. So I picked this up. It's not that heavy. It's about the same weight as like the 10,000 mAh battery backup that I have. It's almost about the same weight. So it's not light, but it's one of those luxury items that I carry that I think is well worth it. I just got it, and like I said, it's super loud, so I don't use it when I'm at camp with other people, because I can only imagine how annoying it would be to listen to this, but a lot of the times when I stealth camp, I do use it, and it's crucial. So let me turn it on so you can see how loud it is. So you just hit the button on the bottom, hold it. So it's loud. What's cool about this is if you put this little connection on this side, it'll blow up the pad. And then if you flip it over to the top part, the top part will suck the air out, which is pretty cool. So you'll see how I just turned that on by accident because it just has this little button on the side here. The button on the bottom is what prevents it from accidentally turning on in your pack. So that's a nice little feature that they put on there so it doesn't accidentally hit on while you're just backpacking and then you got to dig through your bag to turn it off. So yeah, the downside is it's super loud and it's not all that light. It's not extremely heavy, but it's not light. It's not a light item to carry, but that's how much I hate blowing up my mattress pad, that it's my luxury item. So that's everything in the brain. Now we're going to get to the inside of my pack. I will start at the bottom. So there's access to the pack on the bottom here as well as the top. You can actually access the pack from the side as well. Bottom, before I get in there, this is on the bottom, super bottom here is where the cover for the pack is, the rain cover. It's got its own special, came with the bag, and it's got its own special pocket at the very bottom, so that's very convenient. I can just go in there if it starts raining, grab that. I tried to squeeze my rain jacket in there as well, and the pocket is like specially designed just for the backpack cover, rain cover, so I couldn't squeeze my rain jacket in there. It'd be awesome if they made it a little bit bigger and I could put all my rain gear in there, but that's not the case. It's all good. I just keep my rain jacket at the top of the pack when I know it's going to rain. So that's on the bottom there, and like I said, that all came with the pack, the cover and the little storage for it on the very bottom. But then in here is the tent. So this tent is going to be super filthy right now, so I'm probably not even going to take it out. But like I said, it is the Marmount Limelight 2-person tent. It's been working great for me. It's not super light. It's about a 5-pound tent with the stakes, but it's a good tent. There's no condensation buildup on the inside of it. When it rains, I stay dry. It came with like the bottom, what do they call that? Like the bottom layer for the tent, so nothing pokes through. So it's got everything I need. I've had it now for a while. It was the first tent I bought, so I've had it for a couple years, and it works great. So I still use it. Again, I could definitely go with like a Z-Packs tent and get a lighter tent, and one day I probably will. But just for the sake of not spending money if I don't have to, this thing's working fine, so I'm gonna get as much time out of it as I possibly can. And it's working great for me, so why change it? So you'll see I packed that pretty tight on the bottom. Like I really try to compress that, pack that as tight as possible, so that I can keep my pack as tight and compressed and as small as possible. All right, now on top is my food bag. You'll see here, if I want to hang it as a bear bag, I can. So I keep everything food related in here, as well as my stove and the canister. So I have a canister here. Inside the stove is the MSR Pocket Rocket, I think it's called. This thing's great. It's just a little screw on adapter that goes on the stove, and then you light it up and you can cook. I've got a bandana just so I can like wipe the pot or wipe anything that gets wet that I need to use this for. This comes in very handy for multiple uses out on trail. I recommend having one. It's extremely lightweight, doesn't take up any space, and trust me, you'll find ways to use it. And then I also have like a little squeegee here. This is great for wiping the condensation off the tent in the morning, because a lot of mornings you'll find, whether it rains or not, the tent gets wet with condensation. So if you just use the squeegee to wipe off all that water, and then you can squeeze it, this way you can keep the gear as dry as possible. And then hopefully if you get to camp early enough, like 5 o'clock, and there's still 4 hours of sun out, you can set up your tent again, and then hopefully completely dries. My tent is actually still wet in here, so I need to take it out and hang it over my balcony so that it dries, which is why I didn't take it out completely, because really, without setting it up, there's nothing to look at. It's just material, and I know it's muddy and it's wet, so I'm gonna keep it in there until I take it outside. And then I have this minimalist pot. It's probably smaller than most. It's a GSI Outdoors Halulite minimalist pot. It comes with a little koozie, which is awesome. But when you cook it, the whole pot gets really hot. So it came with these little rubber fingers or placeholders so that you can pick it up, drop it into the little cozy it comes with, and then you can hold it without burning your hand. This thing's awesome. I drink out of it as well as boil water in it. I don't use the pot to cook anything like inside the pot. Everything that I bring is like a dry, I can pretty much eat dry kit meals or snacks out there. So I'm not like making, one time I made rice in here. I put the rice inside the pot in the water and cooked it, and it just made a mess. Like I'm not for cleaning a pot after cooking something, so I stay away from some of those sides that require that. If it doesn't come in a bag, then I can just put this boiling water in and mix it up and cook it right inside the bag, then I'm probably not going to be bringing it on trail with me as a meal. Simple as that. And on the AT, what I realized is you don't need to pack that much food, because you literally can get food like throughout the trail just by taking like a quarter-mile walk when you get to a road crossing. There's a lot of places to get food. So next time I go, I'm gonna pack a lot less food and save myself the weight, because food is heavy. So the more food you bring, the heavier your pack's gonna be. And I learned that this time around. I brought 5 meals with me for like 5 days, because I figured I would just eat what I had and just keep hiking as much as I could. And that was a big mistake. So you'll see what I have in here is 1 meal kit, 2 meal kit, 3 meal kits, and that's it. I brought 5 meal kits because I was going to be out there for 5 days. I was actually only out there for 4 days, but I only ate 2 of them. So, I mean, this is not light. So I was told, after speaking with people, I remember I had this jerky bag, which is not, which is pretty heavy. So it's just a ton of food, and I just packed way too much. So I've learned my lesson. Next time I go out, I'm gonna pack less food. I was told you only need like 3 days of food, really, because it depends how long you're out there too. Then I got more Cliff Bars, tea bags, and instant coffee. Those are some of the things that I use when I'm on trail. Next is a clothing bag. I've got a wool hat to keep me warm. I also wrap this around the bag and use this. This is my pillow when I'm out there. I've got my raincoat in here, some t-shirts, shorts, and extra pair of socks. I don't bring a lot of clothes out. I'm not going to take it all out. I already got a mess here. I only bring 2 t-shirts, 2 shorts, 2 socks, 2 pairs of briefs, and that's it. There's really nothing else. And then I have my rain gear. And then if it was winter, I'd be bringing more clothes with me and stuff like that. Next thing here on my sleeping bag. Now I don't keep my sleeping bag in any kind of compression bag or anything like that, because what I found is if you put in a compression bag and you keep everything in sacks, you don't get to utilize the room in your backpack as well. Rather than if you're just kind of sloppy and you just like stuff it in there, you'll actually use the space in your backpack much more efficiently, which is how I was able to go from a 65-liter pack to a 35-liter pack by learning that lesson. So I do have in the bottom here a backpack liner. The last day was like pure sunshine, not a single chance of rain, so I don't have the backpack liner lining the backpack right now, and if I did, it would make a ton of noise. But that's why I didn't have everything inside the liner. But normally, I do have the liner set up in the pack, and everything that can't get wet, like my clothes and my sleeping bag, is inside the liner. And then I roll it up, close it, and then I can put my food bag on top of there, because the food bag doesn't matter if it gets wet. So I found if you're messy and you don't try to keep everything neat, because I'm a little OCD, so naturally I want to just compress everything and keep everything organized. I learned that the way to maximize space in the pack is just to kind of like just put your bag in there and just like stuff it, get all the air out, compress it as much as possible manually, and then it'll just like naturally expand and take up the space in the pack, and as you're pushing it down, it'll fill in all the gaps. So a crucial lesson there. That's $1 million lesson right there, to save space. And downsize your pack so you can carry less and have a lighter weight. This is my pad, so I do take the air out, roll it up, and then put it in there, and then put the sleeping bag on top, so then the sleeping bag will fill in the spaces around it. This is a Big Agnes insulated Q-Core 25 by 72 by 4. This thing's awesome. I can't complain about it. It's going to be about as comfortable as a mattress or pad that you can get out there, and it hasn't gotten a hole. I've used it on like 3 backpack section hikes now, and no holes, no issues. It works like a gym. What does it say about a pad, right? I have a sleeping bag liner that I use to keep my sleeping bag clean. That's in there. And then that's it. That's it. So that's my whole setup. Base weight is about 20 pounds. I made some adjustments since my last hike, where I had a 65 pack and went down to a 35. And a lot of that was just organizing the pack. Each time you go out there, you kind of learn new tips and tricks and different ways to do things, and sometimes you realize, okay, you know what, I've been bringing this out, I don't need this. Like for example, one thing that I'm going to toss that I've been carrying with me every section hike that I go is my stakes. I never use these stakes, and this is, you know, takes up weight and space. So why in the world am I carrying these? I just realized that this last section hike, so I'm gonna get rid of these stakes. My tent is self-supported, so I don't need the stakes. There's the repair kits in here that I will keep. I'll probably put them in my first aid bag that I have, but the stakes are gone. I'm not gonna carry them out. So every time you go out, you know, you figure out things that you don't need, some stuff that maybe you do need to get. But what's important is just, you know, do your thing, do what works for you, but you definitely want to make sure you keep the best advice I can give you is keep your pack as light as possible. You don't need to go crazy and be like one of these super ultra light people that sleeps in a tarp, but the lighter your pack is, the more fun you're gonna have. If you're out there carrying a huge heavy pack, you're not gonna have fun. It's up and downhill, you're climbing mountains, that's why you're out there. And the more weight you're carrying, the less fun it's gonna be. So that's the best advice that I could give anybody. again, this is my setup. Just wanted to share with you guys what I do when I go out there. If you have any questions, let me know, and tell me what you think.